Welcome to ZanZanA. What a big and really tremendous way to begin the show. I have the pleasure to have with me Marta Gabriel from Crystal Viper. Hi, Marta.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for accepting to be with us for this interview. So before beginning and asking question, let's come with some words about Crystal Viper. Crystal Viper is Marta Gabriel on vocals and guitars, Andy Wave on guitars, Eric Juris on guitars, Blaze Grugel on bass, Cederick Forsberg on drums. The albums of Crystal Viper 2007, The Curse of Crystal Viper. In 2009, Metal Nation. In 2010, Legends. In 2012, Crime and Exception. Possession in 2013, Queen of the Witches on 2017, Tales of Fire and Ice on 2019, and The Cult, the new album on 2021. This album has several songs, Providence, The Cult that we just hear it, Whispers from Beyond, Down in the Crypt, Sleeping Giants, Forgotten Land, Arsenault Wait, The Calling, Flaring Madness, Lost in the Dark, and two bonus tracks on the LP, Trial by Fire, and on the CD, Welcome Home. Welcome to ZanZanA, Marta Gabriel.
Something is wrong with the connection because I cannot hear you at all.
You can't hear me? Wow, and now? Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yes, I have you.
Now you can
yes,
hear me?
You're back. Yes.
I'm back. Okay. So let's begin. So first of all, there are some changement on the lineup of Crystal Viper this time with the coming of a new drummer.
Yes, in 2019, when it was already clear that Golem was going to quit the band, I started to look for a new drummer. And I contacted a friend of mine from Sweden. He was a drummer from Follow the Cipher band, Karl. I contacted him and I asked him if maybe he would be interested in playing in Crystal Viper, or maybe he can recommend someone who would be interested in playing in Crystal Viper. And he told me that he would love to help us, but he was at the moment in his life that he just became a father back then, and he didn't want to leave his child at home and go on tour with us. And he asked me, he told me that he is very surprised why I haven't contacted Cederick Forsberg, especially because he knows that me and Cedric, we know each other. And that is true. For example, I recorded guest vocals for one of Cedric's bands a few years ago for Brighton Holt. Since then, we know who were we, And I said to Karl that I haven't contacted Cedric because he plays guitar, not drums, and we are looking for a drummer. And then Karl told me that he's pretty surprised that don't know that Cedric is actually a fantastic drummer and drums is his first instrument. And 10 minutes after that, we were on the phone with Cedric, and 1 week later, Cedric came to Poland to meet with us, to hang out with us, to play a little bit, and so on. And since then, he's in the band. 1 month later, after we met for the first time as a band, he went on tour together. Then we went on the second tour. and then pandemic began, and that's it. And we recorded an album together. He's a fantastic musician. He's not only a great drummer, he's very good guitarist. He's fantastic bass player. He also sings, and he's a great composer. We were working on songs for the cult together. Some songs are composed by me, and some of them are composed by Cederick. He also did mixes of this album. So another thing about Cedric is that he's a very good mixing engineer. So yeah, here we are.
Yeah, well, what tremendous recruitment, we say it. It's very interesting. So, for everyone who is watching us now, you can ask your question to Marta by writing a comment in the live chat, and there are some comments. Clay Maureen, a big hail to Marta from Serbia. Hey.
Hey, metal.
Yeah, this song rocks as well as the entire new album. Derek Konichi, Heika.
That's actually a friend of mine. Heika.
Oh, Derek?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing that I'm afraid is that when my bandmates are going start to write here, because this is going to be a disaster.
Come on.
No,
I
guys,
invite
don't
them.
do that.
From Houston in the States. Hi, Marta. Cheers from Houston, from It's Glen. Yeah.
Hey.
Tarek Ben Sessi, hello. Do you know Cartagots band? It's a heavy metal band, Tunisian heavy metal band.
No, never heard of them, but I will check them out for sure.
Okay, he's the guitarist, and I will send you the links. Clay Maureen, Cedrick is the jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Ah, here it is. Eric Juris.
Oh no, Eric, go away.
It's happening already.
Oh no.
It's biting my tongue. Okay,
Eric, nice.
If you have some question to ask to Marta, you can do it. I'm joking. So, you were supposed to go on tour to defend the previous album, and lots of bands, coronavirus came. COVID-19 made everyone stay at home, and you decided to continue and to how we say the lockdown. You will be not staying just at home, but you worked on a new album.
It was like that.
Yeah.
After our previous album was released in November in 2019, we played literally 8 live shows. It was a very short Spanish and Portugal tour, and then it was a short German tour. And at the beginning of the last year, it was clear for us that we are not going anywhere in last year. So we started receiving a lot of info that some shows were postponed, some of them were completely cancelled, and so on. So in March, we came up with an idea that it will be a pity to lose entire year. Let's not waste entire year, and let's do something. And we came up with the idea to start working on the new album. And yeah, we started it was in March or April, something like that. And album was completely done in August. It went so fast. We were working on it all together, of course, completely online, because Crystal Viper members live in 3 different countries, in Poland, in Germany, and in Sweden. So we haven't seen each other for a year right now. And yeah, we were working on the album at homes. We were sending between each other all of the tracks and so on. And then we sent all tracks to Zed to mix the album. And when the album was done in August, right after that, we started to work on next music projects, which I cannot tell you a lot about them at the moment because I don't want to spoil the surprise. And it's going to be a surprise because it's something really, really cool. So keep following our social media because we will post some info about what we are doing right now. Even today, we are in the middle of recording something. So yeah. Lots of surprises coming. Lots of surprises are coming, later this year.
Okay, a surprise like this. Marta Gabriel, adult size Scooby-Doo costume. Oh, sorry, that's not Google Bar.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo. Dude!
Yeah.
But one Scooby-Doo has just arrived today because Bart bought on the internet a Scooby-Doo mascot. It's in the other room, so I won't show you right now, but we have it. It arrived today. Adult size Scooby-Doo costume. Oh.
Yeah. Gregor is here. Heika, Gregor Swifty. Excuse me for pronunciation of... okay, and Karim, okay, that's a question. When the COVID-19 is over, will you come to Serbia and have a kick-ass show? That's...
Well, regarding Crystal Viper going anywhere to play live shows, it doesn't usually depend on us because there must be a promoter in such country and such area who is interested in, inviting Crystal Viper to organize a live show and so on. Crystal Viper as a band, we ourselves don't organize live shows. So if you want to see Crystal Viper in Serbia, contact your local promoter, tell him that, man, we want to see Crystal Viper here, invite them here, organize a show. And I promise you, if they will contact us and everything will look all right, we will come for sure. Because playing live shows is the reason, actually, one of the reasons that Crystal Viper exists. We are recording albums to play them live later. So yeah, we are hungry for playing. Man, it's been a year. I cannot believe this. We had such a long break from playing live. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think you have an actual tour that was postponed. I think because you had some dates of concert that were scheduled in February. No,
there were actually lots of live shows scheduled, and they are already postponed. Our tour, there was a great tour planned with Raven and with Wolf. It has been postponed already 2 times, and I really hope it will happen. But to be honest, I'm usually a very optimistic person, but regarding 2021, I am not that optimistic, and I'm really afraid of that. This year is going to be a kind of a repetition of the previous one, that no live shows and so on. I really hope it won't happen, but the truth is that no one knows what will happen. But regarding this tour with Wolf and with Raven, I really cannot wait to play this tour because I love both bands. I love Raven, I love Wolf. I'm a fan of both bands, and going on this tour will be a kind of double fun. Firstly, we'll be performing with my band on stage. And secondly, watching my favorite bands playing live, So it will be fantastic tour, both for a musician and for a music fan. I'm really looking forward to play this tour, but yeah, it is how it is right now. we will see. Time will show.
Yeah, and I think that every artist, every musician now is waiting. How that this vaccine will make all the thing come to an end, and the comeback of the show, the stages, the concerts, the festivals, and everything like this. Yeah.
Yes, of course, instead of playing live, I also miss a lot going to live shows to see my favorite bands live, because I just love to do that. I'm not only a musician who plays heavy metal, who plays instruments. I'm also a music fan. I'm a metal fan. I love to, go to the festival to watch my favorite bands playing live and so on. I love to travel, and because of this pandemic, it's not possible to travel at all. Some borders are still closed, so you cannot cross the border. Even right now in Poland, it's not impossible to travel in Poland, inside Poland, because hotels are closed. So even if, for example, me and my husband, we would decide to go somewhere to spend some time, far away from place where we live, it's not possible because there is no place to stay for night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, like we say, question. Let's speak about the album. So the album, the Cult, who is right now. So this album of Crystal Viper, is it? What was the idea when you were on the lockdown? What was the inspiration?
Well, there were two kind of different inspirations, musically and lyrically.
Yeah.
When I was composing songs, my biggest inspiration for the cult were stories and novels from Howard Phillips Lovecraft. At the beginning of the last year, I started to read his stories, and it was like someone would give me a pill or an injection with ideas for lyrics, for music, for everything. I remember when I was reading his stories. I mean, I love to read books in general. I love to read. I try to read as much as possible in every free moment. But it happened to me for the first time that, for example, I started to read his stories and I couldn't stop myself from reading. So, for example, when I was reading something and then I had to do something else, I was continuing those stories with headphones and with audiobooks because I just had to know what will happen later. And for example, when I was reading at night and then I was going to sleep, I was having dreams, those stories, and that was fantastic because I almost felt like one of Lovecraft's characters because most of them have yes, Lovecraft fever, exactly. Yeah, I was having dreams about those stories, and I felt like one of characters from those novels. And in the morning, when I was waking up with ideas for more music, for lyrics, and so on. And it was something like in the moment when I was reading, I was already creating a soundtracks for the stories. So I was composing songs when I was reading his stories. That was beautiful. And lyrically, that was probably it never took me as fast as quick to write lyrics for the album, like for this one. It's because of the inspirations. His stories were so inspired to me. Yeah, that was great. And musically, Crystal Viper for me, it has always been classic heavy metal band. So musical inspirations, well, we have bands like Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, and bands like that.
Yeah. Just for the metal fans, they have to know that people that don't know Lovecraft, that he wrote a book whose name, The Call of Cthulhu. the Call of Cthulhu with obviously the famous song of Metallica. So I think there's a connection between Lovecraft and metal bands, and yeah, maybe the example. Um,
I think it depends of the inspirations, and
yeah,
the inspirations you have depend of what are you sensitive on. I think every artist finds inspiration somewhere else. But yeah, there are a lot of metal bands that were inspired by Lovecraft. I'm not sure if I am right now, but I think that also Megadeth had a song inspired by Lovecraft. Polaris, probably. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not sure, but yeah.
please correct me. Who can go to Google and to see if that's right or not? Because no, I don't have this information. I just remember about Metallica and the famous song, "The Call of Cthulhu," instead of the
Yeah.
book of of Lovecraft.
And actually,
Yeah.
by this story, by Call of Cthulhu, it's the Cult, our title song from the album. It's a song inspired by the Call of Cthulhu story, actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so now you can make the next tour in first part of Metallica show because now we got the connection with Metallica. Tell me, Marta. Okay, Crystal Viper. Crystal Viper is a very old school sound of metal. Like you say, the um, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and it reminds me even older Deep Purple with some songs of Deep Purple that had that speed, like a Speed King or songs like this. Um,
Really? That's weird, because I really like those older bands, but I actually never listened a lot of Deep Purple. I was always more into Led Zeppelin, Uriah Heep, something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, I
But I
got
love Led Zeppelin.
to
Yeah.
yeah, but Deep Purple, I think it's a good because there are some songs with Ian Gillan singing. That way of singing and the speed and the mood, a song like Speed King or I don't know. I listened yesterday after listening to your album. I was listening to Deep Purple and I was saying, yeah, it reminds me of that songs. So why
But
the
thank you very much. But thank you very much for saying that, because Deep Purple is a very good band with great songs. So it's actually a compliment. So thank you for that.
Yeah. The other compliment for Marta Gabriel is the voice, because you can go to different tonality, and even the very high tonalities that remind me Jan Gillen and remind me also Judas Priest. I never saw you on stage, but I want to see how is Christ Viper on stage and how is Marta Gabriel on guitar and on voice on stage. It should be it's a very big challenge.
Um, if it's a challenge to sing and play, is that your question?
No,
Because
it's a challenge to sing at that high level and to play guitar also, I think. And
well, I will be honest with you. I wasn't playing guitar from the very beginning in Crystal Viper. I started
yeah,
to play guitar after 2 or 3 Crystal Viper albums, because I wanted to be able to compose better songs. I'm a pianist, this is my first instrument. I play piano since I was 7 years old. And I started playing guitars in my after 20s, you know. I don't remember exactly when, but I remember my very first studio recording on guitar was Stronghold Under Siege song. So that was my first guitar studio performance with a band. So at the beginning, I had to learn how to sing and play at the same time because I've never done that. When I started learning playing guitar, I was learning playing guitar when I was composing my own songs. And that was always challenging for me because I had something in my head and then I had to play it and I couldn't. So I had to learn how to play it. And this is actually how I learned to play guitar and the bass guitar. And in the recording studio with the Stronghold, I will tell you this story because this is actually a story how I became a guitarist in Crystal Viper. I remember it was a time that with Crystal Viper we were looking for a guitarist for a band, and at the same period of time, together with my husband, we bought new guitar for me. I remember it was a Schecter, V-shaped Schecter. It was a cool guitar. And that was also this period of time that we were recording Stronghold Under Siege song. And there was a recording session scheduled. So when we were going with Crystal Viper to the recording studio, Bart came up with an idea to take this new guitar. So we will check in the studio how it sounds and so on. And I said, okay, let's take it to the studio. We'll play a bit. I will play a bit on this with this one. And well, just like that. And when we were in the recording studio, we plugged my guitar in. And that was the very first time, actually, when my bandmates heard me playing guitar. And after they heard it, they said, okay, so we have guitarists. We don't need to look for another guitarist for a band. And then I said that, no, we still have to look for a guitarist because I don't want to play guitar in Crystal Viper. And I really didn't want to, but the recording session ended up in a way that I recorded guitars together with Andy for this song. And then we had this conversation that it would make sense that, you know, I would play guitar. It would be cool because we won't have to look for anyone else any longer and so on. And then I said, okay, I will try. And then I started to learn how to sing and play at the same time because these two things are completely different. And for example, as a pianist, it's natural for me to play piano and sing because I'm doing it for years. And with guitar, it was something completely new for me. So at the rehearsals at home, I was keep on practicing, playing and singing at the same time in a very slow tempo. I was practicing in front of my mirror how to stand with guitar because I was preparing myself to go on stage with guitar and to sing at the same time. So I had to learn how to play guitar standing because I've never done that before as well. And well, from one rehearsal to another, playing at home, well, I think I was ready to go on stage. But I remember one of the very first show with Crystal Viper that I played with guitar was Keep It True Festival in Germany, and and I was sorry for saying like that, but I was almost shitting my pants off when I went on stage. First time with guitar on stage and all those cameras, people with, you know, photo cameras. I knew that we are going to be recorded and so on. A lot of people, I was scared. I was scared, but it all passed when I started playing. It was beautiful. And since then, honestly, I loved playing guitar on stage and I love it until now. And if it's difficult to sing and play at the same time, it is if you don't practice. But if you practice, it's okay. It's okay. It's fun. And right now, I cannot imagine myself without guitar on stage. I feel uncomfortable. And to be honest, those 3 or 4 years ago, the decision that we made, that I stopped playing guitar on stage, was one of the biggest mistakes in my life. That I agreed that I stopped playing guitar. But there is also some, good thing about that, because thanks to that, I stopped playing guitar. We have Eric Juris in band, who is fantastic guitar player, good friend, and fantastic person, talented musician, and so on. Eric, you still there? Well, no. No, it was it was something good, that was actually the only one good thing that happened to us because of I stopped playing guitar. And but I'm back on guitar and I couldn't be happier. Right now there are 3 guitarists in Crystal Viper, me, Eric, and hopefully Andy. We will see, time will show. One of my biggest dreams is to play live shows on 3 guitars, like Iron Maiden. This is something that I would love to do one day. Yeah, we will see. We will see.
Yeah, the trouble is with Crystal Viper, the BPM is very fast, very high. So for a beginner to come on and play, you have to catch the tempo.
It depends of the song. It depends of the song, and you can play everything if you practice. That's the truth.
Yeah. And with the lockdown, you have a lot of time to practice.
And especially a lot of time for composing new music. That's the most important. But if I don't know, if I would have to choose between playing live and composing songs, I wouldn't be able to choose only one. It's always it's for me, it would be perfect to find the balance between those two. But right now we are not able to play live at all. So composing music, creating new songs is the only thing that we can do right now. And this is good. This is the good thing. Maybe when we will start playing live shows in the future, there will be more material to play. It will be even more difficult to, choose songs for a set list, because even right now, it's a disaster. We have 8 albums with Crystal Viper being released, and try to choose now 8 or 9 songs for a set list. It's not possible. So we always do something like we are choosing 20 or 30 songs, and then we are just taking some songs out of the set list, because this is the only possible way to choose 8 or I don't know 10, but it's never easy.
Eric is here. Don't lie, you don't like me.
Okay, I didn't want it to say it loud, but yeah, you said it. Yeah.
Marta, behind you there's a piano, and I don't know, it's a bass or a guitar. When you compose, what instrument do you use? Piano or a keyboard or a guitar?
It's still, most of songs that I compose I'm creating with piano. It's still piano, but later I arrange everything with guitar and bass. But the really basis of the song it's always piano. But even when I'm playing piano and I'm composing song, I have in my head those guitar riffs and so on. So it's actually difficult to explain, because in general, it's not like I sit with instruments and then try to compose song, because it doesn't work like that for me. I will try to explain. It's always like the music starts to play in my head first. I hear music, I hear guitar riffs, I hear the melodies and so on. And then I just need to record them to not forget them. So when I have this music in my head, I just have to sit and record. And this is how I create music. And for that, for working in this way, I always need to be inspired by something. So here we are speaking again about inspirations. But with my husband, with Bart, we are laughing that actually the way that I'm creating songs, it's a kind of a musical schizophrenia, because some people are hearing voices in their head and I'm hearing music. So yeah, even if it is this kind of schizophrenia, please don't treat me, because this is how I create music. I know it sounds funny maybe for some people, and I know most of people just don't understand that, but I can't find any other way to explain that better. The song always starts here, not with my hands
Yeah,
on instruments, if you know what I mean. It's always
yeah,
difficult
yeah, I
for me to
understand.
explain that.
So the question I ask you now is why there's not keyboards on Crystal Viper? Why don't you play, sing and play keyboards? And maybe you should now, after the interview, go download some Deep Purple song, 70s, and hear the Hammond, suggestion. Like I don't know if Eric is it's okay with that, but why don't you have a keyboard on the band?
We on previous Crystal Viper albums, we actually had piano, um, even grand piano. It was some ballads and so on. I'm a fan of a band like Sabotage and Virgin Steel, especially Virgin Steel. I remember that when I was a teenager, Virgin Steel was actually one of the very first bands that I started to listen to heavy metal with. So I knew that when I started listening to metal, I already knew that there are some place for keyboards and for piano and so on. And then Sabotage. There is a lots of piano in Sabotage, and this is what I
Sabotage,
love.
yeah.
Yes, but the thing that I play piano doesn't mean that I have to do that in Crystal Viper. I also play bass guitar, but I don't play bass guitar in Crystal Viper. It always depends of the song, of the music. I always, when I'm composing music, I always try to arrange it in a way that it's good for the song. So yeah, that's why. And if, for example, for in the future, when we will be working on next album, when I will be working on next songs, and I will decide that, for example, in one of those new songs there is a nice place for piano, then I will do that. But for this album, for the cult, I simply didn't find the right place for keyboards or for piano. You can hear keyboards in the intro in Providence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recorded the intro entirely on keyboard, so this is the only one. But on the rest of the songs, there wasn't much place. We wanted the cult to have classic heavy metal sound, and yeah, that's why.
Deep Purple is a classic metal, heavy metal song. Also, I said this. I said nothing.
I promise you that after this interview, I will play Deep Purple. I will listen. Sorry, I will listen to Deep Purple.
Yeah. Clay Maureen, since we are a metal band with a lady vocal too, do you think times have changed and more metal fans became open to female-fronted bands because there should be a difference?
Well, my answer to that is I think nothing has really changed, because if there is a girl, if there is a woman, if there was a woman that wanted to play in a band, she could do that. So we have bands from the 80s like Warlock, Acid, Chastain. We have all female bands like Girl School, The Runaways. We have Lita Ford, The Giago, Wendy Williams, and many, many more. So women have always been in metal music as well as they can be right now. So I don't really think that that 21st century is a better place for women in metal, because for me it was always like that. It doesn't matter really if you are man or a woman. You are a musician, and if you want to create music, if you want to play, you should do that. So this kind of way of thinking, oh, should I do that because I'm a girl? It shouldn't be like that. If you are a musician, you want to perform, go play in your band and perform. And very often people ask me, how do I feel as a woman in metal? And my answer usually is that I don't know, because I have never been a man and I don't have a comparison to tell you how is it like to be a woman in metal, because that's actually true. First of all, I'm a musician. I want to create music, I want to play, and this is what I do. And I think it should be like that. And if there are any young girls, if there are any women who want to play, who want to perform, go and do that, because there is nothing that can actually stop you.
Mina, I agree with you. Bravo.
Hello, Mina.
Friday I was on an interview with a French band whose name is Sleazy's, and the guitarist is a woman who played long time ago. She's Puerto Rican, and she played in the States with an all-women band, in the 80s. And she told me that the difference now between now and the 80s is that in the crowd, in the people in front of her now, there's more women than it used to be in the 80s. Do you think so?
I really don't know, because I don't know. I wasn't playing on stage in the 80s because I was too small. So I really don't know. I know how it looks like that. For me, the main difference between 21st century, between now and the 80s, for me, the main difference were the hairstyles, because this is a difference that I can see with my own eyes. But regarding people that were, going to live shows and so on, I wasn't there. In the 80s, even in the 90s, I was still too young to go to live shows. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question, how to comment, because I don't know.
No, forget the 80s. Maybe you began playing in, I think, the first album of Crystal Viper was 2007, I think. So in the last 13 years, have you seen any difference, or maybe no? Maybe no.
I don't think so.
Samseki is here, wise and creative. Thank you. And Cleroman, I absolutely agree, but there are still those that point this question on various social networks and forums, so just wanted to hear you take on it.
Yeah.
There's still lots of conservative until now, so that's people. About the hairstyle, Lita Ford on the 80s with the lion. I say that. Yeah, hairstyle. For singing now. Let's talk about Marta Gabriel as a singer. Have you a routine for rehearsing the way of singing, and because on the album we can hear you go very very high. You sing and things like that. And it's very difficult for the vocal cords. So have you got a routine? Have you got?
My routine. I don't do any of those classic vocal exercises like singing scales or something like that. I usually sing songs that I need to get ready with, both for the album or for going live. I try to not make very long breaks between singing because vocal cords, your voice, vocal cords are muscles, and if you are not using those muscles for a long time, it's like your head a little bit can forget how to use them. So you need to be in a kind of constant shape with your vocal cords. So, for example, when I'm recording songs, when I'm recording new songs, I don't do any kind of warming up or any special vocal routines. I only try to get into technique that I'm vocally use. And for example, I know that a lot of vocalists before the live shows, they are spending 20, even 30 minutes for warming up and so on. And I believe that works. If that works for someone, it's completely fine. It doesn't work for me in a way that it's like 30 minutes more of singing before the live show. And when you are on tour, every 30 minutes more on the set list, it's a lot actually. And this is one of the reasons that I don't do that. I only try to jump right into the technique that I'm using, because if you are using the right technique with right breath support, you won't damage your voice in the studio, nor on stage. So I don't do any warming up, no vocal routines or anything like that. But for example, I'm always very, very careful when I'm using new vocal techniques. And this is something that I'm still learning, because when you are a musician, and it doesn't matter really if you are vocalist or guitarist or guitar player or the drummer, you are learning for your whole life. You are still learning new things. You are getting better in your thing that you are practicing and so on. So that's very, very important. Regarding vocal routine, I always remember to drink a lot of water, and not only 10 glasses of water 1 hour before I start to sing. It's very important to stay well hydrated for the entire day when you are recording, because and your entire body needs water as well as your vocal cords. If they are dry, you cannot sing properly. Another thing very important for vocalists is to have a good sleep. In my case, it works like that. If I don't have a good sleep and I am tired, I am not able to sing well. My listener can hear that. I am tired, I'm not that powerful, and so on. So having a good sleep is very, very important thing. The next thing is actually the general physical shape of your body. If you are working up, if you are working out, if you are active, physically, it also helps a lot, because you are stronger, and then you don't get tired very, very fast. So you can sing better. You have more energy, and so on. The other thing is diet. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink alcohol at all. I'm sober right now for 3 years. Yeah, for 3 years I haven't touched alcohol at all. So it also helps a lot. So all those things like sport, good diet, taking care of good sleep, and all those things that I mentioned, if you combine them, they will very help you to develop your vocal skills and so on. And regarding those high notes, I believe that most of vocalists can do that. It's all about practice. For example, right now I could say that screaming and growling is difficult. It is difficult for me because I cannot do that. I've never learned how to do that. So for me, it's difficult. So I would have to learn that. But after I learned that, it will be easy for me as well. So right now I can say that singing those high notes are not very. It's not a difficult thing for me because I can do that and I know how. But I had to learn that as well in the future, in the past. Sorry. What I wanted to say that there are a lots of vocal techniques that I want to learn in the future, and yeah, I really
Yeah,
hope
and
I will be able to learn them.
yeah, I hope. But now there's 1 year that you didn't go on stage. How do you practice? Because it's not the same thing going and singing on stage on studio or practicing in the kitchen or under the shower or even with you yourself. It's not the same strength.
You know, the I miss the English word right now. The situation is different on stage and in the studio, but vocal technique is the same for me. So for example, it doesn't really matter for me if I am singing in the studio, in my home studio, in the kitchen, under the shower, or on stage. I always try to stay in the technique that I know and the technique that I'm using, because if I'm out of the vocal technique, I'm damaging my voice. And this is very important, not only for me, but for all vocalists, to always stay in the proper technique that won't damage your voice. And as I said, it doesn't matter if you are in the kitchen singing your song or on the stage. You need to stay in the right technique to not damage your voice. And this is what I do before live shows. I sing like, I don't know, 1 minute or two to make sure that I am in the technique. I know that I have in my head this feeling that I am going on stage with my technique that I'm using and that I'm able to sing a good show. And yeah, this is what I do, and this is what works for me.
Okay, and Jariel Vakama says you have really good sound in your voice. I love it.
Thank you very much, Yari. Yes, Yari. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm saying the name in a proper way, but yeah.
I think maybe from Finland. So let's remember that the album is this one, The Cult from Crystal Viper. It's here.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's this way. Because I see myself opposite on my phone. So yeah. The Cult.
This one, The Cult, the album of Crystal Viper. You have to have it, and some say she could be a good coach. Reconversion.
Can you please repeat?
You can be a good coach, a vocal coach.
Wow. You know, I think I would like that, but I've never thought about that. You know, and I don't know. There is still a lot of things that I don't know, and I you know, if I learn something and I have some knowledge about singing, I am happy to share it with other people, because there are important things, and like stuff like staying in a good technique for all the time is very important. But yeah, there are a lot of things that I need to learn myself, so that's why I cannot be a coach. Thank you for saying that. But yeah, there are still things that I need to learn myself, and then maybe, I don't know, in 10 years from now we can talk about me being a vocal coach or something like that. Yeah.
Maybe they have to take you as a jury in the voice in Poland, or this singing shows. you know. George Kuszewski, Marta is the best metal singer in the world.
Wow, thank you very much. Dzięki Grzesiek. It's a Polish it's a person from Poland, so yeah.
You know, when I had to learn when I was young, you know, speak new Bogniak, and the name of the football player after, you know, I know Kasper Czak, or you know, that was. So Marta, that was a very big pleasure having you with us tonight. Thank you very much. So now it's you are on the wait and see mood. So
I didn't hear you.
So I was telling you, thank you very much for being with us, and now you are on the wait and see mood.
I again didn't hear you. Something is going on. I heard only beginning. I don't know what you said at the ending.
Okay, it doesn't matter. That's I say the pleasure of the live show. It's you are on a wait and see mood.
What do you mean exactly? Wait
and see. You are waiting for what is happening after for going on stage, and now the album is here. You did what you did, but you don't know. You can't project yourself in the summer or.
We need to wait and see what will happen, because we really don't know. I'm super glad that we were able to put this album together, because it was completely different for us this time. You know, we were working on previous albums in the recording studio. Recording at our home studios were something new to us. We haven't met in the studio. That was always also something different. You know, regarding recording this album, it was weird for me in a way that with previous albums, it was like when I was sitting in the studio with my bandmates, there was always this beautiful musical climate around us. You know, there was only music, only working on songs, on music, and the outside world doesn't exist at all. And we were sharing our passion, which is music, with all of us, with all bandmates and so on. So that was great. And when we were working at home, I really missed this studio atmosphere, you know, because, for example, when I was working on my parts, it was like, for all the time I had, there was something at the back of my head telling me that there is something else to do, you know, after recording my parts and so on. But when you are in the recording studio, there doesn't exist something like this. You can focus on music only, and you don't think about other stuff. So I believe it was also kind of difficult for guys from my band, and that's why I'm very proud of everybody in Crystal Viper, Blaze and Cederick and Ted, and that we were able to put it together and to release it.
You know what? Now I'm going to re-listen to the album, but this mental way, you know, because of course, everyone was in his place. Someone in Poland, someone in Germany, I think, someone in the States, I think, and it was
Sweden. It's Sweden.
Sweden, and it was really, I would say, a very big challenge. Recording in pajamas, spilling coffee on the interface, buying groceries in between. Good times.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
I
a
can.
very big testimonial, Eric.
Yeah, but I was recording once in my pajama as well, so.
Yeah. Never say that kills the meat. Great interview. It's always a pleasure to see and hear from Marta Gabriel. Thank you, Karim. You're welcome, Clémorine.
Thank you.
Michael said, when I listened to a new album, I found that song Sleeping Giant have similar melody to song Island of Civil School. Is there any connection or it's only my feeling?
The only connection between these two songs is that I'm the composer, so maybe that's why they are similar, because they are composed by one person, and I think I have my own specific style of songwriting. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much, Marta. It was a very big pleasure.
Thank you very much for a nice talk, for a nice interview. Thank you for supporting Crystal Viper. We really appreciate that. And thank you, guys and girls, who are sitting out there answering your questions and watching us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see you on stage. Yeah, I hope to see you
Yeah,
on stage.
hopefully soon. Hopefully.
Okay, just we remember this album. The album is here, the cult album of Crystal Viper. Okay, thank you
I
very much. We're going.
hope you will
Yeah,
like
tell
it.
me. I like it, déjà. Tell me, we're going to end with the song Asenath Wait. Can you tell us something about this song?
It's a song inspired by a story from Lovecraft, The Thing on the Doorstep. It's a great story, so I think it's a good idea to not tell you what is it exactly about. So I encourage you to take the book in your hands and to read, because reading is beautiful thing as well as listening to music. And
Okay.
the thing I can assure you is that the atmosphere of the song is very similar to the atmosphere of the story. So yeah, I hope you will like both song and story as well.
Thank you very much, Marta.
Thank you.
Bye.